Hi there, thanks for joining me. Have you ever been working on your website in WordPress dashboard and you've made some updates and changes to a particular page? You've hit save and publish, and then you go to look at that page and nothing's happened, nothing's changed. You don't see any of the work that you've just spent so much time putting into, and you're not seeing it serving up on your computer. Or even worse, sometimes you see some of the changes coming through and others not so much. So you're wondering, did I make a mistake? Or is there a glitch in the software? What's happening? Why are my changes not showing up? Or maybe I'm just not putting this in the right place. You go and you look again, and it looks like you've made the changes in the back end in the WordPress dashboard. But again, you look at the page and nothing is there, or some of the changes are made and others are not. This happens all the time, and there's a reason that it's happening. And I just had an experience just like this where I thought that there must be a plugin conflict or a software issue. And it's such a newbie mistake, but it's something that I forgot. So either this will be a great reminder for you just to remember to always do this, or this is something new for you that you can learn. This is why all of the latest updates on your website are not showing up in your browser. The thing that you should do is hop into your browser and look at things through an incognito window if you're on Google, or a private browsing window if you're on a browser like Safari or Firefox. I'm going to hop in here and show you exactly how to do it. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about why this is happening and why you might want to look at this through a private browsing window or incognito window. The reason is you have all your files associated with layout, colors, fonts, pictures, and everything hosted on a server. And that has to travel from the server to the person who is pulling up that information on their computer. It has to travel to their terminal. And all of that takes some time for all the packets of information to go from one place to the other. We use things called a cache. Like, your website host is probably using a cache. You might also be using a tool that has a content delivery network, which just means that that is storing information really close to local computers all over the world. And it has a copy of maybe some stale information that's hanging out there on your website, but it's close to the local computer, so it can serve up very quickly. And when you make a change that happens with the files on the hosting server, it does not automatically push out to all of those cached locations or saved file locations along the way. And your browser even has a cache. I'm sure you're familiar with the word cache because everyone always tells you that if you're having trouble with your browser, that you might need to clear the cache. So you probably already know how to do that. So your browser window even has a cache associated with that. And all it is it's storing a local copy of old files that it's pulled up before so that it can serve things up to you more quickly. And what happens is when you make a change on your website server, which is where all the files are stored, it doesn't always make it out to all of those different cache locations to overwrite the copy that's sitting there in the different locations that are being cached and stored. And one way you can make a browser pull the freshest version of whatever's happening on any website, and this includes whenever you might be using someone else's website, but you're not sure it's functioning correctly, you can hop right into an incognito browser in Chrome or a private browsing window in something like Firefox or Safari. And here's how you do it. You just go to File and hit New Incognito Window, and it actually pulls up a separate version of your tab here. And I can see that I have a bit of a problem because this is not displaying the new incognito tab. Now you can see this is the little Inspector Gadget guy. I think he looks a little bit like Inspector Gadget. And that's how you'll know the browser goes dark. It says incognito in the right hand side, or it might say private browsing in one of the other browser windows, but this is how you know that you're in the right place. Then you're going to paste a copy of that URL into the browser address bar here, and it will serve up the freshest version of your website. Now, the interesting part about this is it doesn't always have capture every single overwrite every single cache that's along the way from your website host all the way to the browser, but it does solve most of your problems. So if you're having this problem, this is the first place I'd start. Go into an incognito browser or a private browsing window, pull up the freshest version of your website and see if the change was made there. If you're still noticing problems, before you submit a ticket with one of the vendors to make sure that you don't have a software issue going on, we want to clear all the caches along the way. And you can have those at different places. As I mentioned, your website host might be storing a cache. Even some of your plugins have their own cached version of what you're serving up. And so sometimes you have to hop into WordPress and go into the plugin settings and clear the cache for the plugin to make sure that everything's as up to date as possible and you have the freshest version being served out across the internet. But for these purposes, and probably 90% of your problem can be solved by looking at it through incognito. If you look at it through incognito and you do see all of your updates, then the second thing that you're going to want to do to make sure everyone else is seeing all the updates is to flush the cache through the system. And we will talk about some of the places where you can find that and show you how to get to them in at the end of this week whenever we come back on Friday. All right, that's it for today though. I'm Tina Smith, and I'm here to make complicated WordPress stuff feel easy so that you can solve the right problems, grow good business, and get the online results you've always wanted. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.